Alright, I got 4 words for you guys. Worst birthday present ever. Or better yet, how about this one? Worst dirty prank ever. I mean, either way you slice it, that's what this movie is. Welcome back to the David Fincher series, guys. In case you guys missed it, I very recently reviewed Seven on the channel. I had tons of fun rewatching it and recording that review for y'all. And yes, this is keeping up with the series. I'm gonna review every single David Fincher movie minus Alien 3 in the build-up to Mank, which will be releasing on Netflix on December 4th. But today on the docket is The Game, which oddly enough is only 1 out of 2 of his films that have gotten the Criterion treatment. I think honestly all of them should at this point because, I mean, he deserves it. And this movie follows a successful banker named Nicholas Van Orton, played by Michael Douglas. And he's basically an introvert, keeps mostly to himself, and he's kind of grouchy. When his estranged brother Conrad, played by Sean Penn, returns on his birthday with an odd gift, participation in a personalized real-life game, Nicholas accepts, albeit reluctantly. Although the game shows itself to be initially harmless, it grows increasingly personal. And Nicholas begins to fear for his own life as he eludes agents from the mysterious game's organizers. With no one left to trust and his money gone, Nicholas must find answers for himself. So this movie, man, there is so much going on. This is a white-knuckled thriller at its core, very 1984 in a lot of ways. It always feels like someone who's in on the game is watching this character crumble. But with what Fincher was going for here, I find this concept very similar to Hereditary. Now hear me out on this one. Similar to Hereditary, which I also reviewed on the channel by the way, all the events within the game feel like your worst nightmare. There are so many events that occur in this film that seem so implausible when putting them all together within the narrative structure. But it's the way that Fincher directs this movie, as well as the genius writing of it all, that grounds all this implausibility in some really haunting reality. And I think that right there is what makes The Game as great as it is. Granted, it's not my favorite David Fincher film, but it's still extremely solid. Now, speaking of Fincher, this direction, this editing, need I say more? So seamless. It's very reminiscent of Seven. If that wasn't enough proof to show you that this dude was here to stay, The Game certainly proves it. And I find the editing very similar to that of Seven in that, again, he is playing around in how these characters are reacting to their surroundings, and he's leaving what he doesn't show us up to our interpretations. And that, my friends, once again, that's where the fear creeps up on you. I mean, as spooky as that clown poltergeist thing is, like, oh god, why are there so many clown scenes in this movie? But the ambiguity of certain situations is what really sets me on edge. How about the score for this movie also? Very chilling, very goosebump inducing. And it's almost all exclusively done just with the highest keys on a piano, just plucking them out like a little heartbeat. And I think the score really helps establish the tone that Fincher's going for here. He's really trying to set the audience on edge. And he very much succeeds here. It always feels like this lead character has to turn his head over his shoulder at every turn. It always feels like someone's chasing him. I mean, this script is throwing so many obstacles in the main character's path and his journey. And even though he's not the most likable guy in the world, we want him to escape this super stressful situation. I mean, nobody wants to be stuck in this game. Absolutely nobody. I don't care what their personality is like. I don't wish this torture on anybody. Now, while we're on the subject of personality, let's talk about this leading performance by Michael Douglas. So excellent. This is a very grouchy main character going through a lot of traumatic events in order to transform him into a better human being. This plot sounds very Dickens-esque in a lot of ways, but Douglas never overdoes or overplays the transformation necessary to display his character's change. He is very subdued a lot of the time. You'll notice that he never really reaches that crescendo until the really hits the fan. And he has an excellent understanding of not only who Nicholas Van Orton is, but at any given moment, how he's feeling and where he is in his life. And he never overplays any of that. It really feels like a genuine human being we're watching here and not just watching Michael Douglas. This was truly Oscar-worthy. I mean, all these actors are awesome. Sean Penn as Nicholas's brother Conrad, so great here. Penn really gets to play around a lot with the emotional range. There's one meltdown that he has has after he and Michael get a flat tire, and man, that's a lot. Now, obviously, this is a very praiseworthy feature, yet another one from David Fincher. Now, if I did have to nitpick stuff, I will say that one thing about this movie that really gets to me is that it does have a lot of red herrings. Now, granted, I understand how necessary red herrings are in order to drive the drama home, and the red herrings are absolutely needed there in order for the reversals and also the final twist to work. But on this rewatch, I don't know, I feel like the movie was a little too overly reliant on them. Nevertheless, regardless, as a cinephile, this is an intense experience to go through. And while we're at it, yeah, okay, let's talk about it. The final twist of this movie. It definitely feels very long-winded to get to that final crescendo that Fincher was wanting. There are, as I've mentioned, loads of red herrings, not only throughout this entire film, but especially throughout this climax. I mean, there's a few points where the movie should have ended within that last 15 minutes, and honestly, if it ended at certain points, it would have been a lot more effective. But nope, just a weird final twist, and it becomes extremely convoluted. I don't know if this was just a sick, twisted mind from David Fincher or what, but the bottom line is, this is still an extremely solid outing from David Fincher. I'm gonna give the game an A-. Now, like I said, this isn't my favorite in his filmography. I wasn't as invested in this story as I was with Seven, but this series still has a long way to go, and I feel like this director is just getting started. Given whose name is on it, this is bound to be excellent filmmaking. Fincher is playing a demented game with our minds here, truly. I just lost the game. But have you guys seen the game? Do you guys enjoy it? Do you not? Did I make you think of the game? I would love to hear all of those thoughts down in the comments section below, and I would love to discuss them with you further. And hey, if you guys are enjoying this content and you guys want to see more from me down the line, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below as hard as you possibly can so you guys can stay in the loop anytime a new upload hits the channel. And hey, if you guys enjoyed this review, please be sure to leave a big fat thumbs up on your way out. I'd really appreciate that. And lastly, thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for your support of the channel so far. It really does mean the world. Look out for more exciting content hitting the channel very soon, including discussion on new releases and the next installment in this very series, Fight Club. And yes, that does mean I do have to break the first cardinal rule of Fight Club in order to discuss it. You guys are awesome. Thank you all so much again for your support. And with all that being said, back talk, commence.